What's up everyone, Tommy with Studio Sense here. Really glad that you're stopping by to check out today's video, and hopefully you'll be able to hear me in full stereo sound now that I'm reintroducing my Yeti microphone. I actually really like this mic. It's just that it's so big and I don't know, it's like sneaking up from the bottom like a snake that's getting ready to bite me or something.
Bite me.
Anyway, and I thought this would give me mobility and room to move and breathe, but then I realized I'm barely breathing and I'm barely moving. So why would I need a wireless mic? In the future, when I actually go, because it actually comes with two mics, you know, for another person, and when I'm actually moving around, then I don't have to have that big Tascam mic that I usually use for interviews and things like that. So anyway, just a little bit of housekeeping stuff there. Sorry if you hate the actual look of this mic at the bottom of my screen. I'm doing it for those of you that are using equipment that for whatever reason doesn't mesh well with my Ceremonic sound system. And again, I'm saying too much about this, but I'm kind of a purist, I guess you could say, and not necessarily an audiophile, but just on the verge of being one. And one reason I didn't like this is because whenever you're recording audio on a computer, it creates this lag, and sometimes there can even be blips of moments where there's no audio, and then it picks back up again. Yes, there's a tool in Adobe Premiere Pro that will sync your audio, but it doesn't always work. In fact, many times it doesn't work great, and so I'm kind of anal about audio, and I want it to sync up. I don't want to be saying like this in a bad movie. That's why this is back. Hopefully it's going to alleviate any kind of audio problems that many of you are having. Now, for those of you that are here to hear about fragrances, you know, the note of sandalwood is, I think, one of the most misunderstood or maybe misrepresented notes in fragrance. Most people, when they think of sandalwood, they think of a stick of incense burning. You know, it's smoky, it's heavy, it's cloying, it's sweet effusively, and you feel like any moment now somebody's gonna enter through a beaded doorway with a deck of tarot cards and a sense of urgency about your future. And oh, by the way, can you give me a ride because I'm kind of in between cars right now? No, that is not sandalwood. Nay, I say. Back to the cave of misinformation. Now, I'm not saying sandalwood isn't a popular incense, because it's actually ranked number 2 in this company that sells them, and believe it or not, oud is number 1, which is interesting. I never thought oud would be number 1 in incense sales. Sandalwood, in fact, in fragrance has a more distinctive kind of flavor and aroma, and we're going to get into the details of that here in a bit. I'm a little bit behind on my new releases. I've had this one for a little while. I'm just now assessing it for you guys. It is Stronger With You Sandalwood by Emporio Armani. Anytime you see the Arabic and the O there, that means it's a UAE only. So this isn't a North American release, but of course it's relatively easy to get if you want it. We're going to be talking about the sandalwood centric fragrance in all of its detail. I've got that and more coming right up. Welcome back everyone to my first impressions of Emporio Armani's Stronger With You Sandalwood. Now, one of my favorite sandalwood fragrances, and I'm going to disappear for a second as I grab it. See, this is when having a wireless mic comes in handy, because you didn't lose my audio. This I obviously disappeared. Also, another negative is that I have to have a computer going, and the computer gets hot as it's recording audio, the fan comes on, and now you've got the fan in the background. One of the negatives of using a wired mic. Zadig and Voltaire This Is Love remains one of my favorite sandalwood-centric fragrances. When I say sandalwood-centric, that means its focus is on the note of sandalwood. So it's going to take something really to kind of push this off the pedestal, and it's no surprise that Stronger With You Sandalwood actually does that, mostly anyway. And we're going to talk about why, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at the presentation. It is an all dark green box because sandalwood. Sandalwood is a wood. It is from a tree. Trees have leaves and it's green, thus the green representation. We'll get into what that's supposed to mean here in a minute. Exclusive edition in gold at the top. Stronger With You Sandalwood is also in gold. Stronger With You Emporio Armani gold bands going around it. The bands continue on either side of the box with no other information. On the back of the box is the ingredients listing, distribution information, various stickers, a UPC, and a tiny QR code. Similar information on the bottom of the box, including the batch code of 38Y703Y. For those of you that want to check the batch code at checkfresh.com or where have you, It is a 100 ml bottle, 3.3 fluid ounces. It is an EDP or eau de parfum concentration. That's the box. And then the bottle. The bottle looks exactly like all of the Stronger With You bottles. It is a very thick, heavy glass square bottle with a combination metal and plastic cap that is gold. And this time the bottle is a deep, rich, talismanic green. The information I found online about the bottle can't really agree as to what it's representing. One source says that it's encapsulated in a deep green talismanic bottle, which is reminiscent of a mystical desert landscape. Another source, and I think it was Sephora, said that it is adorned in an intensely green talisman designed to echo the woody addictiveness of sandalwood. So whether it's the mystical desert or the addictiveness of sandalwood, I'll let you guys figure out which it's representing to you. I think it's a really outstanding looking bottle in amongst all the other really good looking Stronger With You presentation bottles. The bottle features gold highlights or attributes in the form of Stronger With You sandalwood on the front and Emporio Armani in the bottom, with the gold stripes going all the way around. It actually cuts off so there's no stripes on the back, and on the bottom is a small adhesive sticker with house size and concentration, as well as the batch code. The atomizer is gold with a black aperture, and it sprays a good bit of juice, and I'll just spray it once. A great looking presentation. I really enjoy it. I'm a fan of this line. Every iteration that they come out with, I grab it up almost immediately because I really enjoy it. I'm a completionist. I want all of them. And it's interesting to see what they do with a very familiar DNA when they focus on a specific note. And in this case, it's sandalwood. Sandalwood, in the form of fragrance, it is a very distinctive, warm, welcoming, inviting aroma. It's very creamy, it's very milky. It has some spicy undertones sometimes, and it also has, some people say that they can smell a floral balance, kind of a floral nuance going on at times. And I smell that as well with a really high quality sandalwood, and it's also in this fragrance. A little bit balsamic, a little bit floral, very, very milky, creamy, spicy, warm, and woodsy, okay? Because it's a wood, and right on the heels of woodsy is the earthy, loamy, accessible warmth that's very inviting. Sandalwood's one of the most inviting, warm, and that's why it's used in so many things. So now that we know what it looks like, we've talked a little bit about what sandalwood is as a note in most fragrance. Stronger With You sandalwood is categorized as a woody, aromatic, amber fougere. What about the notes that make up the fragrance? Stronger With You sandalwood features a top note of saffron, with heart notes of lavender and glazed chestnut, resting on a base of cedarwood, sandalwood, and vanilla. They're wanting the note of sandalwood to be the primary focus, but then you get that familiar scent profile or DNA of Stronger With You backing it up. Chronologically, to go through the notes is how they hit my nose. The first thing that I smell is the kind of rough yet soft, leathery saffron that hits you. And then you get that combination of lavender and sugar-coated chestnut. The marriage of lavender and glazed chestnuts is a fantastic duo and is what makes this so appealing. And then along comes sandalwood, wraps its warm embrace around these notes, and that's what gives it the woody, milky, creamy, earthy, aromatic, balsamic, spicy. Of course, largely responsible for how good that smells too is a combination of another wood, cedarwood and vanilla. Vanilla, also similar to sandalwood, just adds more creaminess, more milkiness, and more sweetness to the mix. And that's what makes the Stronger With You DNA so wonderful. It literally smells like a Stronger With You fragrance with more of a woody, sweet, milky, creamy base. And that's attributable to the sandalwood and the vanilla. And of course the glazed chestnuts, because that's the DNA of Stronger With You. Now the reason it's a UAE only release, not in North America, is because it kind of makes sense, because sandalwood is by and large a product of India. It's also, you can get it in Hawaii and Australia. I think Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are the two places where it's found in the very dry deciduous forests. Sandalwood is an industry in those states, and that's why it's an exclusive edition and not necessarily going to be. Now, I'm not saying it won't be released to North America, probably at some point, but again, it's easy enough to get if you want to get it. The saffron is a leathery, bittersweet accord that is fantastic handshake into the heart of the fragrance, which is where you start to get that Stronger With You familiarness. In terms of season, this is an all-season wear fragrance, but where and when would you want to wear any of the Stronger With You fragrances? Primarily in cooler weather or nighttime of any season, because it is a date night fragrance. It's still a sweet, sexy, lightly gourmand fragrance, even though its primary focus is on sandalwood. That actually opens up the versatility a bit more for this one, for daily wear. And so I would say for the season, you can wear it in any season, but it's going to be maximized in a little bit cooler climes, and specifically at nighttime of any season. That sandalwood does have a decidedly sexy side to it because of the whole warm and inviting nature of sandalwood and how familiar it is to most people. In terms of price, full retail 100 ml bottle is going to cost you about $175. But you can get it at Joma Shop right now for $133, and that's actually really good. That's less than what I paid, when I bought it. So I would highly recommend, if you're interested in getting this, if you're a completionist or you just love the line and you want every new version, get it through Joma Shop. You get free shipping, and you're going to get it at less than most places are carrying it at full retail. Most of you know Joma Shop is a discounter. In terms of performance, longevity, sillage, scent bubble, weight, this is near atomic level. It's very high end in terms of, I would say definitely above average in terms of longevity. Guys, this lasts me a good 10 plus hours. Pretty powerful scent bubble within the first 2 hours. This is more of a full review than it is a first impressions, but it is also my first impressions because it's the first time I've talked about it online. It is an extremely well-performing fragrance, probably one of the best out of the Stronger With You line. And so you don't have to worry about that. Even though sandalwood is more of a soft, creamy, milky wood, that doesn't mean it's quiet. It's midline in terms of how it comes across. In terms of performance, well above average. Let's face it, guys, at this point, you've got to understand that flankers in the Stronger With You line are a bit of a redundancy at this point, because it's really hard to do better than intensely and absolutely. Everything else is just kind of, if you're a fan of tobacco, you might want to focus on that. If you're a fan of sandalwood, you might want to focus on that. If you like oud, if oud is all you wear 24/7, 365, you want to get Stronger With You oud. You see where I'm going with this. Not every one of these fragrances is going to appeal to everyone, as absolutely and intensely does. Those are the two most popular of the line. But I still feel like this one is worth owning because I am a fan of sandalwood oriented fragrances that do it right, similar to This Is Love by Zadig and Voltaire. And this stands really close, neck and neck, to that one. How well they use the note of sandalwood. It's not effusive, it's not overly done, but you smell it and you're like, oh, that smells like Stronger With You, but it smells different, and that's because of the sandalwood filling out the scent profile in a way that only sandalwood can do. And so that makes it enjoyable, and I think that makes it worth owning. But I also agree with the school of thought that, wow, it's just another flanker. I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money on that. If you have absolutely or intensely or both, you're probably okay, and you're not missing out on a compliment that you would have otherwise gotten if you would have bought this one. You're still going to get full compliments, and you're still going to get noticed, and you're still going to enjoy the scent without owning this one. So I agree with both schools of thought, and I think both of them can be equally correct. Okay guys, this is just a quick addition to the video that I totally forgot to do. We're going to do a giveaway in this video of a 3 ml sample. That's one of these vials here. So quite a bit, 3 ml. You can do a lot with it. A 3 ml sample of Emporio Armani Stronger With You Sandalwood, and a brand new Emporio Armani, what is it called? Gray flat pouch. I didn't take it out because I wanted to preserve the integrity of the brand new item, so the seal is not broken if there is a seal. Anyway, that's what this is here, if you can see that. I want you guys to have it and to enjoy it. I think it's pretty cool. Normally I would keep it and use it myself, but if you're interested in that, and more importantly, the 3 ml sample, all you gotta do is, in the comments below, let me know which one of Stronger With You in the line is your favorite. Which flanker is your favorite, whether it's absolutely, intensely, freeze, whatever. Make sure that you are subbed, make sure that you like this video, and make sure that you comment what your favorite flanker is in the Stronger With You line. You'll be pulled by YouTube random comment picker to win. Good luck, have fun. Well guys, that's going to wrap up my first impressions of this Stronger With You Sandalwood. I think it's a great flanker, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with the line into the future. see how they're going to wrap it up or how they're going to keep continuing it. But if you own, again, don't run out there and grab it up if you already own some that you're happy enough with. And if you're not a big fan of sandalwood, you're not really necessarily missing out. But it still smells fantastic. And I love how they use sandalwood as a note appropriately. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in to today's video, this first impressions. As always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. You and your family stay safe out there. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video review.